Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Here we are on this new morning, a new Sunday, to be welcomed into community, and however that happens. Maybe a friendly smile or a hello from someone near you. Maybe a welcome at the door. Maybe we're content to kind of be to ourselves and have a quiet moment. All of those things are welcome and affirmed as we join together as spiritual seekers united in community. So welcome to this gathering. This is a place to be who we are and who we're becoming, and just as we are. And so as we welcome each other, we recognize that we're building a safer place for all people. So as we need to hear this morning, let us in all of our diversity be affirmed that we are welcome. A safer place for all people, and that means all ages and sizes, all colors and genders, all cultures and all abilities, all sexualities and learning styles and neurotypes, all religions, many or none, all people, period. So welcome to this space, and welcome to those who join us online today. You are part of us as well, even though we're distanced across technology. We're part of community, and what you bring to this time and how this time is food for you, I hope that you feel a part of us as well. As we light our candle this morning, we call this our community candle. We light it as we do every day that we gather. And we let this light remind us of who we are. Sparks of energy, sparks of divine, sparks of amazing, beautiful humanity. Connected as we are, not only to each other, but to the whole cosmos, to every creature and plant, to every star and galaxy. We are one. And as we light this candle, I remind us too of who we are as a community, our identity that we've been living into and living with and evolving into for the last many years. So I remind us that yes, we are spiritual seekers that celebrate diversity, that engage life with spiritual depth, that inspires compassion and connection, and that makes a meaningful difference in our world. So welcome as we live into one or many or all of those this morning. And I welcome each and every one of you. We're going to sing a song that speaks about this welcome that we're about, the affirmation of who we are, but also the affirmation of who we seek to be in the world and who we wish our world to be. This is our work ahead of us. We're working to build a house, and as we sing this song, let's recognize that our house means many things. It's our temple here, it's our community here, it's our village, our world. Let's sing ourselves into this space.
Save Good morning. I'm Ruth Stevenson, and I'm your gathering companion this morning. I'd like to acknowledge the land on which we all live, was lived on for eons before we were ever born, by people who were in relationship with the land. They were in healthy relationship with the land. My hope for all of us at this time is that we learn to be in better relationship with our land and with each other. I want to just say a few words about the red dresses that are around today. Today is Red Dress Day, probably as many of you know, to remind us of the problem that our colonized land still has with missing and murdered Indigenous women and children. I'm really delighted today to bring some good news about missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And I'm going to use my tablet to read to you a story that I came across yesterday in the Globe and Mail. Canada and Manitoba are partnering to launch an alert system that would inform the public when an Indigenous woman or girl goes missing. They announced this Friday in Winnipeg ahead of a national day to mark the crisis. I'm going to read you a little bit more because it's great news. The long-awaited Red Dress Alert System is a bid to prevent deaths and increase safe reunions with loved ones. Statistics Canada concluded in a report last year that the homicide rate for Indigenous women and girls was 6 times higher than the rate for their non-Indigenous counterparts. A national inquiry concluded 5 years ago that they are 12 times more likely to go missing or murdered. This is a historic moment and a major step toward ending the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and gender-diverse people, said an MP. And while we celebrate this historic moment, it's critical to remember that we are not done until a red dress alert is no longer needed. To me, the next sentence is the most important. The Manitoba pilot is to be designed with and led by Indigenous peoples. So there we are. Good news for once from the Indigenous Committee. And I just, now that I've got the mic, I'm going to I'm going to keep talking. Look out. On Friday, I think it was, I got an email from a friend in BC about a documentary concerning the Israeli-Palestinian problem. I lived in Israel when I was a young woman. I lived on a kibbutz for about 3 months and traveled around the country for another month. And I've always tried to sort of see what's going on in Israel. And of course, what's going on right now is absolutely horrific. But watching this documentary, and then there was a Zoom seminar yesterday, I realized that a lot of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is like what's happened here in Canada. It's colonization all over again. Of course, it's 100% worse right now, but those same things have happened in our country as well. That's part of our history. So I'd really recommend you have a look at the documentary. It was on YouTube, and it's called The Law and the Prophets. That's kind of not hard to remember. It's very biblical. Interestingly enough, it was funded in a lot of, not all of it, but a lot of it was funded by the Reformed Church in America. So I encourage you to have a look at it and look at the parallels between our country and what's going on over there.
Time for all ages means a time for all of us, but a time if anyone wants to come to the carpet, that's specially for you. So come if you'd like, please. We all know it doesn't matter how old you are, what size you are, you're always welcome on the carpet. And it's lovely we have our friend Carolyn here, or to some of you, Mom, that we're going to share a song with each other in a moment. But first, I thought it would be a smart thing to talk about what this song is about. It's something that we all do, and it's something we most of the time don't even think about. Are you doing it right now? Are you breathing? I hope so. Breathing is an amazing thing because it's like our heartbeat. We don't have to think about it to make it happen. Our bodies do it naturally. But there's something that happens with us, all of us, when we actually think about how we're breathing. Something different happens in us. When we think about it, when we focus on it, somehow our bodies relax. Somehow our breathing helps us feel a different way. Can you just for 10 seconds, not very long, take 2 or 3 breaths and then tell me what difference you notice when you think about your breathing? Just do it quietly. Everyone in the room is going to do it. Do you notice anything? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but do you notice anything? What do you notice?
I am really starting to get really
Really calm. You start to feel really calm. What do you notice?
If you didn't breathe, then you wouldn't be able to talk to people you like.
That's right. If you didn't breathe, you wouldn't be able to talk to the people you like. It's very smart. Does anyone else notice anything when they breathe?
When I breathe, I can't sit still.
Oh, it's hard to sit still. Mm-hmm. Sometimes breathing gives us all that oxygen in our blood, and we just want to now do something with it. What do other people notice? Bonnie? Robin's sleeping. Breathing gently when we sleep. Oh, beautiful. Anyone else notice anything?
You still your mind when you're thinking about the mechanics of breathing.
When you think about breathing, some of the busy thoughts of other things kind of go away. Oh, this is lovely. All these things happen. They're always happening, but when we concentrate on our breathing, oh, they happen all the more. Singing is amazing because we have to breathe differently when we sing. We have to maybe take breaths down lower. We have to have breath enough for our voice to be strong. So singing is lovely for our breathing too. But this is a song that Carolyn's going to teach us. And this is a song all about breathing in and breathing out. Take it away, Carolyn.
I wonder if maybe we could just imagine the most beautiful flower in your mind. So it can be whatever flower you see and whatever color is your favorite color. Can you just imagine that? And then the next thing is just to imagine yourself being solid as a mountain. Do you think you could sit in a way that feels solid? Is there a way that makes you feel tall and strong, sitting in a way that's solid? And then imagine at the bottom of the mountain, there's a lake. and the lake is crystal clear, like glass on the surface. And when the moon comes out at night, you can see the moon reflecting on the water because the water is so still. And that is the stillness that we're talking about in this song, and the beauty of the flower and the solidity of the mountain. Okay, it goes a little bit like this. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free.
What a lovely song. I feel different now.
I feel like I still have enough energy, and I feel like you can't.
Okay, good, good. If that energizes you, then let's go use it. Daisy, Ariane, are you ready? Here they come. Kid spirit time. Let's use it. Use all that breath and energy. Here we go. There's a reason I usually sit on a stump. Whew. Okay. We have a few moments to share some invitations with each other, some things coming up, and if you've got anything to share, now is the time to do that, and I would invite you forward. First of all, let's all recognize the work that we share. Everything we announce, everything that we do together is because we do it together. And your support means that we can do all the more. So thank you for all those who support us regularly and who allow us to do all of the work that we do together in this building, in the broader community, and across the world. Thanks to each and every one of you. There's always boxes available for your donations, and there's a website that will take your donation anytime that's convenient. Thank you for all the ways that you support us. Speaking of support, I just want to mention two really important things today. Some of you have heard about the challenges with City of Edmonton funding with a number of social service agencies in the city. Bissell Centre is one that's been affected quite severely. Their drop-in center has had to reimagine continuing without funding, and for some time thought that they would have to absolutely shut down their drop-in center. Now it looks like they are just having to drastically reduce service in their drop-in center, but they are still requesting help. So volunteer help, if it's something that you can give a day or two in a week to helping in the drop-in center, they are looking for keen volunteers. They've got, of course, donations are always welcome at Bissell Center. So it's an organization we are so close with at SSUC, have supported it in so many ways and for so many years. So that invitation is there. And then some real tragic news for the queer community in our city and area this weekend. Out Loud St. Albert has had to close operations just as of a day or two ago. And that has been a service that has helped, supported, and been community for queer youth, particularly in St. Albert, but not only in St. Albert, really for the whole north side of the city. So again, we don't know what shape that will take in terms of what will come next, but as if there weren't enough needs already in that space, now there will be even more as the gap widens for support for queer youth particularly. Many of us were very excited about an Emberwood ritual coming up right after this gathering in the small hall, lunch, and a wonderful kind of indoor experience of what Emberwood is all about. Unfortunately, Jude talked to me this morning and said, this migraine will not quit. So those of you who suffer from that know that that can just be debilitating. So our thoughts with Jude as hopefully that gets better really quickly. And we'll reschedule that nature ritual, and we'll make sure we have that in the coming weeks. Other thoughts and other announcements for us today? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mary. I just wanted to give everyone an update on the refugees that we submitted an application for in 2021. We hadn't heard anything about them. We contacted the MLA Upal's office, and they were excellent. Right away, they called Tanzania, and the 3 young men have so far last week gone for their interviews, and everything went very well. And they've gone for their medicals as well. So it's right now just a matter of us waiting for when they will arrive. So things are moving. It's 3 young men from Sudan. And I can't remember whose names I put on the application form, but I will have to I will have to dig that, but not to worry, because the family that gave us the money to be able to support them when they come, they have a lot of strong support from the community. But if you still have time, if your name was on that application form, if you still have time, you're very welcome. But we do have a very strong team to support them with everything that they need. So just an update so that you know where we are with that application. Thank you.
On
Our first piece of wisdom this morning comes from someone we know and love, Micah Pollock. From his most recent book of poetry, The Space Between the Boughs. This is a piece entitled Mozart's Sonata in B-flat major, Kirchhoff 570, Movement 2. As the final notes fade, my hands lifting from the keys, he turned to me and said, "You know, I don't really have anything to say." The notes sang. The harmonies sounded as they should. It was breathing. It was really quite excellent. What did you do? I blushed a little at his praise, this old master, teacher, friend, and I told him that I just chose not to think too much, as I always have. I just chose to play. But that was not the whole truth. What did I do? I played piano, washed some dishes, smiled, laughed, learned to use a hula hoop, held you in my arms and danced like a penguin and stared into your eyes, and as we spoke and as we didn't speak, you drove me to school and sat with me as I warmed up. Then I went to my lesson. I breathed in, out. I let my arms and fingers sing freely in those old familiar keys. And I let my mind float away to trees and light and other happy dreams. And that is why I thanked you. These are the poetic words of a friend and author. May we find wisdom for our living.
The second wisdom reading is from a poem by Rana Jevney. There is rarely just one way of seeing what life offers me. Nature is a window. I often ponder too long, wondering if there is a right or a wrong, a better or a worse. 42 photos later, I nearly missed the magic of the morning hoarfrost. I caught myself, laid down my lens, and stood in awe of nature's canvas. In that moment, the universe reminded me 3 times, no moment is forever. Oh, these are poetic words of a friend and an author. May we find wisdom for our living.
So, there was a time not long ago when my typical morning routine was that shortly after waking up, I'd reach for my phone. I didn't need my phone. I knew what time it was. Because I'm still of the age where I have an old clock radio on my nightstand. Because also I'm blind, so I need the numbers big. Nope, I grabbed that phone out of instinct, like a jolt of coffee. It woke my brain up into activity. I'd check my email, I'd look on Instagram and Facebook, I'd see what news I'd missed. Tish Warren, in her book Liturgy of the Ordinary, talks about baby animals in the wild when they're rescued by humans. They're said to be imprinted. That this animal accepts the human as its parent when no other parent exists. And from that point on, it's believed that all good things will come from that person, or by extension from people in general. No longer wild, this animal can't live on its own anymore because they rely on the human for food or water or shelter or protection, unless further intervention and training happens. It made me think, that quote, whether my reaching for the phone ritual wasn't imprinting on me. Was my day imprinted by technology? Now, don't get me wrong. I love technology. It helps me do so many things in my life. But I was wondering in that first moment of the day, was I like a baby mountain lion attached to her humans, training myself to look for all good things to come from my glowing screen? So through the day, I noticed that every time I sat down, I'd feel for my phone. Spend 5 minutes filling the time with an article or a post or scrolling through the reels, and I'd take a break from work and look at my phone again. I'd do it again before bed, even if it was to make sure that I wasn't losing my streaks in whatever game or app that I happened to be obsessing about. I'm hoping this sounds familiar and I'm not just outing myself to a bunch of... Right, like even now, my hand is in my pocket and I am realizing something about me is missing. So without realizing it, had I slowly built a habit, a steady resistance to, and a dread of something? Probably boredom. So, a little more honesty, if you please. I haven't quite figured this out yet. But I've done one thing. I've stopped looking at my phone first thing in the morning. This is maybe one tiny step, but it's one thing I could do. I think that what takes its place is the important part. It's like all the talk in traditional Christian circles about giving up something for Lent. It's not really about the giving up, it's what's in its place. So I think for me, if I'm really ponderous about it, that this morning ritual has something to do with three things. It has to do with my looking out the window. It has to do with my breakfast ritual. And it has to do something with giving the cat treats. Because she won't let us forget that part. Well, it's a work in progress, at any rate. I've started putting my phone somewhere else after dinner, so it's not even with me. That is a hard one. I'm not saying it works every day. Some days not so much. But I'm thinking about all of this more. I don't know why it took me till 2024 to do it, but here it is. So most of our days, most of our lives, driven by habit and routine. That's why we're talking about this series, Routine Wisdom. What do we learn by the routines, the ordinary everyday things of our lives? What wisdom does that share? And sometimes it's uncomfortable wisdom, as I am finding out. And I'm not only learning from the habits that I choose to have in my life. I am learning from the things that are habits even though I don't want them to be. But simply because I'm repeating them. Without intention, without thought. Like our breathing when we're asleep. Oh, Robin's awake. We're shaped every day, whether we know it or not, by practices, rituals of the ordinary days that make us who we are. And in some ways, it doesn't matter what those rituals and practices are. The question is, what kind of person are those rituals and practices making me into? What are they forming me to be? Okay, enough personal revelation for now. Henry Nouwen is a Dutch-born priest, he's no longer with us, and spiritual writer, who offers this wisdom to us in his book, The Genesee Diary. And if you can handle a little traditional language, I recommend this book a lot. You know, all of us are used to translating tradition into what is relevant for us, and this is one of those books. But he's a very, very wise man. He participated fully in the work and prayer of a Trappist monastery in upstate New York, and that's the source of this book, is his reflections on living with these monks. He was not himself a monk. And the personal spiritual struggles that it revealed for him. So a very short time after he arrived, he began doing 2 tasks daily. Working in the Abbey's bakery, where they made and sold bread, and sorting and collecting stones for the Abbey's new chapel. This is his writing. After 3 months of manual work, I'm realizing that I don't like it. When the novelty of it is gone, it becomes very boring. Packing bread, taking hot bread from the conveyor belt, washing raisins, ironing sheets, collecting stones. They're all good jobs for 1 or 2 afternoons. But after 3 months, my main question during work becomes, when is this over? I told all this to my mentor, John Hughes. To my amazement, he said that many, in fact most monks, especially the older ones, really enjoyed their work and did not feel as I do. He pushed me to think how this type of work could give me a good occasion to feel deeply my unrelatedness. In other situations, I have intellectual defenses and strong repressions which prevent me from really feeling fully. This is, by the way, when his writing really grabbed me. I'm like, oh, is that what my phone is doing? I'll read that sentence again. In other situations, I have intellectual defenses and strong repressions which prevent me from really feeling fully. When I study, write, lecture, I can make things interesting by manipulating them in certain ways. But in the bakery or in the creek, it's practically impossible to make things interesting. Then I am faced with just a job to do and nothing else. And then I discover my deep alienation from the task that I'm doing, from the world around me. If I felt really related to my world, really a part of it, I would not complain about dullness and boredom. One more section. Manual work indeed unmasks my illusions. It shows how I am constantly looking for interesting, exciting, distracting activities to keep my mind busy and away from the confrontation with my powerlessness, my mortality, my weakness. Dull work at least opens up my basic defenselessness, and makes me more vulnerable. I hope and pray that this new vulnerability will not make me fearful or angry, but instead open me to the gifts of something new. So, I'm really just asking myself, but you can listen if you want, have we forgotten how to be bored? Or maybe the question is, am I scared of being bored? We make sure that every moment of our lives is filled with some sort of entertainment, email, exercise, and it leaves us no empty space. Empty space. Space to think about things, process things. Always at my disposal, I have something to dull the pain of boredom. And the flip side to not having boredom time is that we don't have any time to be interrupted, inspired. Our senses, listening to the ordinary. It's like there's always a layer of clouds. In this space, anxieties lose their grip, or can, making way for the rekindling of creativity and ideas and novel thoughts and solutions, something new to be kindled. So, in the interest of making it so that it's not just me sharing what's going on in my life, I want to ask you, what is your ordinary, boring activity that brings you a bit of time? Openness to ideas, nudges of thoughts, or openness of hearts. Do you have something in your life that is just such an ordinary, mundane, repetitive task that it opens you? Do you have one? I want to hear. I don't mean to echo from Micah's poem, but mine was really in there. Mine is doing the dishes. I didn't realize years and years ago how much I loved the dishes. This works in our family because Ainsley's mostly the cook and I'm the cleaner. I love doing the dishes. There's just something about the repetitive task, and a clean kitchen is lovely too, but it's so satisfying to what happens in my mind and body when I engage in that ritual. So what is it for you?
Folding laundry.
Folding laundry.
Walking the track.
Walking the track.
Feeding the cat.
Feeding.
The cat.
Feeding the cat. Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for my cat to show me what she wants.
Waiting for the cat to show you what the cat wants. Well, are you still waiting?
Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh. Others? Yeah, Arv?
Dreaming in the evening about life in the past.
Oh, yes. Dreaming of life in the past, memories, that kind of thing. Mhm. Meditation. Mm-hmm.
Gardening.
Yeah, gardening. That'll do it.
Snow shoveling.
Oh, snow shoveling. Yeah. I know this sounds really silly, but having a shower or bath, brilliant ideas come in the shower, I find. Yeah. We're slightly distracted. We're doing like a mundane thing, and somehow something opens in those moments. Daily life, dishes in the sink, kids who ask the same questions over and over again, or reading the same bedtime story over and over again, the long doldrums of the afternoon. Like all these things we've mentioned, these things are filled with repetition, and much of the spiritual life is about returning over and over again to the same work. This is also what's frustrating about the spiritual life, is we think, haven't we dealt with this inner work? Like, didn't I do that last year? We have to contend with the same struggles in our life again and again, over and over. The work of living more faithfully to our values happens daily and with ridiculous repetition. I just love how we're surrounded in this community by artists, musicians, poets. So beautiful. Today's two pieces of wisdom by folks we know and love. They help us remember that it's ordinary things of life that make for places of connection, for this time and space we crave. Mike has expressed that his piano performance for his teacher, his mentor, his friend, wasn't just playing the piano. What went into that playing? Well, all of those things he speaks of. Washed some dishes, smiled, laughed, learned to use a hula hoop, held you in my arms and danced like a penguin. Driving to school, sitting with your loved one. Our days, our successes, our achievements, our lives are made up of small moments. They're not one thing all to themselves. Routines and habits that connect us, that conspire to make us who we are. They're made up of the little, mundane, ordinary things. I think I might just need to read Rana's reflection every morning when I'm tempted to let my phone imprint on me for another day. What a call to action when she's slowing down and when she writes, "I nearly missed the magic of the morning hoarfrost because 32 pictures later, she was looking at it through her screen, through her lens. I caught myself, she writes, laid down my lens, stood in awe of nature's canvas. There's a famous, somewhat famous slogan around social justice circles, and it strikes me as so important to the work of transforming our lives that I posted a copy of it in our kitchen here. It goes like this: everybody wants a revolution, but no one wants to do the dishes. So if you're grabbing a cup of coffee after, look for it. It's in there. Maybe, like you, I want to live I want my life to, through its evolution and through its changes, through the things I want, my intentions and my resolutions, the things I want to change in my life, I want them to happen now. Yesterday, in fact. I want to become a better person. I want to see change in the world. I want my life to be, speak loudly the values that I hold, the principles that I want to express, and I want it now. But as I mature, I'm learning, as I'm sure you are, that you don't get a revolution without a lot of work. Scratch that. You don't get a revolution without a lot of long, hard, boring work. Sure, some of it's exciting, but this much compared to all of the hard, boring work that came before it. The kind of life we seek is often about quiet, repetitive, and ordinary daily stuff. We don't play amazing works for our mentor and teacher without the long, boring work beforehand. This is the way of my morning changes, I think. This is the way of all of our daily routines and rituals. It's one breakfast. It's one look out the window. It's one cat treat at a time. May it be so for all of us.
We also love the land and family to hold a newborn's hand. Love in any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. And once we learn to speak it, all the world will hear. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. Maybe when we realize how much there is to share, we'll find too much in common to pretend it isn't there. Love in any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. And once we learn to speak it, all the world will hear. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. Though the rhetoric of governments may keep us worlds apart, there's no misinterpreting the language of the heart. Love in any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. And once we learn to speak it, all the world will hear. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. Fluently spoken
Please join me in reading to strengthen our intentions. As we work to cultivate a more meaningful life, we seek ways to live fully and love deeply, to be inspired by knowledge and wisdom that can nudge us into a new consciousness, remembering that we are connected with all that's within us and around us. May we allow ourselves to be shaped by our bond to every creature, human, atom, and element, and to the earth, our home. We cast our lot with those who age after age, with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world. In so doing, we enter into the great work of allowing love to infuse us and flow from us. As those who walk a common road, may it be so.
So we change our light, an ordinary act, lighting and extinguishing, that we might come in, go out of each and every day with the ordinary stuff of life and be wiser for it. May we go in peace.
We it will be
his face.